All right, good morning, boys and girls. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about the lower respiratory system this time. Guys, have your notes already set up. You're going to go ahead and fill out the information as we go along. Lower respiratory system, we're going to talk about the larynx, the voice box, composed of cartilage that contains the apparatus for voice production. Interesting statement, guys. I don't know if you guys realize this. Right now, do you hear words coming out of my mouth? Reality is no, you don't. What you actually have is your ear collecting vibrations through sound waves, basically. They're vibrations or sound waves created by my voice box. When they reach your ear and they hit the right tympanic membrane and translate into the brain then translates those vibrations into actual words. Just kind of a really interesting thing. The larynx or the voice box where sound is created is not about words. It's actually about just simply creating vibration that your brain will interpret into words. Think about that. It's kind of interesting. Oh, sorry, hang on, back up. All right, so color code here, kind of interesting and neat. I like the way they did this, showing where your nasal pharynx is versus the oral pharynx versus the hypopharynx. So as we can see, the nasal, obviously nose, nasal, it's the back portion of the nostril, nasal cavity. Look how big this is up here. Okay, we've got quite a bit of a nasal cavity up here. The oral pharynx is actually the mouth, the back portion of that. An interesting fact here is the tongue. Check that out, how big that actually is. And the hypopharynx, which is down below everything, starts to move down into the airways. This is the trachea right here, and this is the esophagus. Bronchi, two main branches of the trachea that go into the lungs. These are located here. So we have the trachea that comes down to the bronchi. Okay, the bronchi are these branches inside. If you take this and turn it upside down, it actually looks like branches of trees. If you were to take this whole thing and flip it upside down, it looks like a big tree with no leaves on it. Hey, take a look at that. Look at it. It's like a cherry tree. Okay. Alveoli, small air sacs in the lung that give the tissue an honeycomb appearance and expand into surface areas for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. These alveoli are little grape-like structures. They expand and contract as you inhale and exhale. As you inhale, they open up to allow oxygen in. They exchange O2 and they drop off O2 and pick up CO2. Then you exhale. They squeeze, pushing everything out, moving your CO2 or waste product out of your body. Lungs, the right lung, 3 lobes, and the left lung has 2 lobes. Just so you guys know, anatomically, this would be the right side. It's actually backwards. Flip it around inside your body. So we have, excuse me, this is the left side. So we have 2 lobes on the left. You have the large one here and this one on the bottom. And then we have broken into the 3 lobes on this side of the right side. Pleura, the membrane or one contained, one folded, continuous fold on itself that surrounds each lobe of the lung and separates the lung from your chest wall. This pleural space, it's basically like almost like a plastic sac that runs along the outside of this lung tissue. And its protection, it's filled with vitreal pleura space or pleura. It's got fluid running around inside, which allows your lung to expand and contract and move without getting stuck together. It also is protection from the outside atmosphere, the rib bones and muscles and all that kind of stuff as well. Diaphragm, the muscle that separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity, and by moving downward, it creates suction in the chest, drawing in air and expanding the lungs. I also want you to write down in this spot, I want you to put down principal muscle of respiration. Very important thing to remember. Without this muscle, we really cannot breathe, especially at birth. We need this muscle to move so we can actually breathe. And it is the driving force behind breath. As it drops down, it creates what's basically referred to as negative space. That negative space then allows us to draw air in to our chest until pressures equal out. When it returns back to normal, we're going to push air out, and that actually creates positive inside, negative outside, until we finally balance both of them out, and then respiration stops. I'm going to come back on Monday, and we're going to kind of go over this whole respiratory process. I want to make sure you guys understand it better. Finally, you guys should have on your notes a anatomical structure of the lower respiratory system that's listed 1 through, I believe it's 10. And here are all the parts. I would like for you to please label that on your notes. That, my friends, is basically the end of our lecture. Appreciate your time. Please make sure you take care of your Friday warm-up today as well. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.